In this video, I'm going to be going over my experience daily driving a tuned GTI. So I'm going to be going over all the supporting mods that I've needed to do to keep it in good maintenance so I was able to keep it tuned and daily drive it still. I'm going to go over some of the problems that I've had, and I'm also going to give you my overall point of view and opinion on this car and how it's treated me. So firstly, all the supporting mods that I've needed to do. The first one you can see right here is an intercooler. I got a CTS front mount. I've heard iffy things about front mount intercoolers, but I've had no problem. It gives me good temps and it looks really cool in my opinion. I think if I do end up getting a much bigger turbo, I definitely am not going to be running a front mount. I'm probably just go direct mount. Probably the D088 is probably my best bet. But for now, since I'm just stage 2 and go on and off E30 maps, the front mount just does the job. So next, I'll go over my intake. So I have the stock airbox, snow guard delete with a K&N drop-in filter. I have the CTS inlet pipe. That's a pretty solid mod. All of them just kind of go hand in hand. I was going for more of like an OEM plus type of intake build. So K&N to the CTS inlet, all the way to the CTS elbow. Next one's for all my manual people. I got a DKM clutch. That was a very big need for me, mostly because the stock clutch in these cars are pretty garbage. If you want to push anything above a stage 1, or yeah, even if you want to push a stage 1, you're definitely going to need a clutch if you're a manual. Obviously DSG don't have that problem. You can probably slap a huge turbo on and not even need to touch the trans. Next thing, downpipe. You're definitely going to need a downpipe if you want to go stage 2. That's just how it goes. You want to go catless, you need to go stage 2. So I have a 3-inch stainless steel. It's just a Chinese downpipe. It works perfectly fine. No problems with it. It's never disconnected. Sounds pretty good. It is a little bit drony, but that's just kind of what you get when you go catless with these cars, because they're just kind of rattly as soon as you take the cat out, especially if you start tweaking with like the resonator and delete the resonator and stuff. It'll definitely be extremely drony. And I think the last big supporting mod that you're going to need to do is the colder spark plugs. I have RS3 coil packs. You don't need to get them. I just did because I kind of wanted to add a little bit more to the engine bay, and I like the red. And I've heard RS3 coil packs are probably like equivalent to the OEM ones, but 90% of tuners that I've seen say just to stick with OEM ones, and RS3 ones are also but I have NGK one-step colder spark plugs, and those you're definitely going to need if you're tuned. Also, I am tuned by EQT. I definitely think that they are probably one of the best tuners for these cars if you want to reliably daily drive it. But I'm tuned by EQT and I've loved them. A bunch of my boys are on EQT and they don't have any problems either. Their service is really good too, and they'll answer any questions you have. And they also have a whole forum on their page about questions you may have and whatnot. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested in tuning your Golfs. I would definitely recommend looking into getting tuned by EQT. And I think that's about it for all the supporting mods that you need to go to comfortably run a stage 2 tune on these cars. Now I want to talk about some of the issues that I've had. The first very big one that I had was actually the clutch. I loaded a stage 1 tune on the car. Within the first like 2 weeks of me having it, I got a whole turbo back system within the first week of me owning this car. And as soon as I loaded the stage 1 tune, the day of, the clutch went, and I was definitely warned about it, but I never thought that it was gonna blow literally the day of. So if you have a manual and you definitely are thinking about tuning your car, add a clutch into the prices of stuff that you're gonna need to get to that power. The second pretty big problem that I had was the throwout bearing. Those are pretty garbage on these cars, I'm gonna be honest. They're literally just a plastic little thing. Some clutches actually come with a throwout bearing. Mine did. It was still shit. It still blew out like a year after I put the clutch in. And Volkswagen told me that there's really no good solution for them, and I've did a lot of research, and the throwout bearings have no real upgrade. There's really just the plastic one. The metal ones I've heard are pretty shit too. So those are something that you kind of have to keep an eye on, and they just kind of go when they go. But most of the issues that I've had with this car have been transmission related. And I did actually learn how to drive manual on this car, so that might be some of the reason on why I've had a couple of issues, was just because I was getting like used to how a manual trans works and everything. So it could have been user error, but I have heard that the stock clutch isn't rated for anything above stock horsepower, and I know for a fact that there's no good real upgrade for the throwout bearing. I also bought this car about 3 years ago. I bought it with about 58,000 miles on it. It's a 2019, so I've had it for 3 years now, and now it has 96,000 miles. And all I've had was those two big trans problems. But as far as the engine goes and everything else, I actually haven't had any problems yet. Obviously, like, knock on whatever, but I think these engines are really, really solid for pushing stage 2 power reliably and not having any issues when you're daily driving it like I do. Because this car does get driven on a day-to-day basis. And I have not had, like I said, any problems with the engine. It's really just those two things with the trans that I had a problem with. But overall, I've had the car for about 30,000 miles, or I guess above 30,000 miles now. And I really cannot complain. The brakes don't really need to be replaced too often. I did have to get both back rotors and brakes completely replaced because there was a bend in one of them, and you got to do both of them if you do one of them. The fronts, I haven't touched the rotors. I did put new brake pads on. That was sort of expensive, but it wasn't really too bad because they do kind of wear slowly, because I mean, obviously it's a pretty light car, and I mean, those are pretty decent sized brakes, so they don't really get used too heavily. But overall, if you guys really want to get a car that you can tune, modify in moderation, obviously, and daily drive without having a lot of problems, honestly, a Mk7 GTI is 100% the way to go. I've had no problems. I have a couple friends that have tuned GTIs. Their engines also have absolutely no problems. The one thing that I will say is, if you want to minimize all the problems, I would try to get the DSG or the automatic transmission, because then you don't have to deal with the throwout bearing, you don't have to deal with the clutch. It's all that good stuff is just with the manual transmission. I've also heard that in the higher trims with the sunroof and all the more electronics and stuff also have a little bit of electronic issues. So if you're really trying to minimize all of the mishaps that you're gonna have, I would try to find a lower trim, no sunroof, with the minimized electronics and the DSG trans. And honestly, you can run this car into the ground with like 300,000 miles. When I hit 100,000 miles, I'm also going to be doing a little review on how my car's kind of held up within those 100,000 miles and just the time span that I've had it. But like I said, no problems with the engine. This car really does handle the stage 2 and the E30 map that I have very well. I take very good care of it. I do oil changes probably every 4,000 miles or so, just to keep on with it. I always keep up on the maintenance, always make sure to do the brakes. I make sure the coolant's always good, make sure that the trans fluid is always in good condition. But besides those couple little things with the transmission, I honestly rate this car like a 9 out of 10.
Hey, that's pretty good.
It really is a flawless car if you're just getting into cars and you want to learn how to tune and you want to learn how to modify cars. This is a perfect platform because it's super easy to do all the bolt-on mods. The front mount intercooler was a little tricky because you got to like drill into the crash bar, but the rest of them are basically pretty easy. I mean, this is easy to take off, this is easy to install, the elbow's easy, the spark plugs are spark plugs just like any other car. So I really have absolutely no complaints. At some point by the end of this year though, I probably will end up retiring this car from being my daily. I'm not getting rid of it though. I'm pretty sure I'm set in stone on keeping this car for as long as I possibly can, keep modifying it cosmetically. I plan on putting a bigger turbo in, but when this car is retired from being my daily by the end of the year, I will be slapping a bigger turbo in it just because I really want to see what this car's got. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I think the most I'll probably do is a Vortex XO with MPI obviously, and I'll get a bigger intake and just other mods. I want to get like a carbon hood and stuff and some other cosmetics. I'm definitely going to be getting some new wheels actually within the next month or two. So that's going to be pretty exciting too. So I'm hyped to see how that works out. I hope you guys enjoyed my input on this car, and I hope you guys get a little bit inspired to start modifying your Golfs, because these really are amazing cars that should be modified. And obviously if I missed anything, let me know. If there's something else that may need to get done, also let me know. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video.